ओ ओ ओ ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् रामो राजमणिः सदा विजयते रामं रमेशं भजे रामेणाभिहता निशाचरचमु रामाय तस्मै नमः रामान्नास्ति परायणं परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम् रामे चित्तलयः सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् Hari Om. We will chant together from the 4th verse, 3rd chapter. न कर्मणामनारम्भात् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च सन्न्यसनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्म कृते कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् असक्तः स विशिष्यते नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्मज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर. If somebody says that we are devotees of Bhagavan Krishna, then it becomes a natural question to ask, what does Bhagavan Krishna like? If I am a devotee of Bhagavan Krishna, then I would like to do what Bhagavan Krishna likes. So if you had to ask Bhagavan Krishna what he likes, he would have said that answer in the form of the 4th shloka. One of the things that Bhagavan likes is not dropping things halfway and not starting anything new out of this fear of karma. Ghora Rupa of karma, if somebody looking at that, which doesn't show its Ghora Rupa, its ferocious form, it doesn't show all the time. Sometimes it keeps coming. When it comes, there is a chance that the sadhaka says, I want to drop this karma. Or not starting anything because of the fear of this Ghora Rupa of karma. Bhagavan says, I don't like both of it. something which is dropped halfway, or something which is not started out of fear. Why? Because he says just by doing that, it is not going to assure us supreme knowledge. Although the state of supreme knowledge is actionlessness, there where there is no creation, there is no action. Knowledge of that supreme Brahman will not take place only by dropping karma. Just to elaborate that point, Bhagavan explained several other pointers from 5th until the 8th verse. Okay, so 5th verse he said, literally means at physical body level, remaining actionless is not an option. We'll be pushed to do actions. Our own swabhava will push us. If we have dropped one karma, we will take something else and then try to do something in that other karma. So he said, first of all, recognize this point. Actionlessness at physical body level is not an option. Even if you withdraw physically, he said, mind will keep racing. Okay. So what should one do? One should intelligently channel these desires which are there, whatever things are inside in the mind. Using that same karma, if we channel, those thoughts, channel that energy which is there inside, he says we can intelligently exhaust these desires and also come to have an integrated personality. Meaning we can still do later outer control of sense organs, and inside mind is also cooperating. And how to do this? Bhagavan said, don't go too far. Wherever we are placed, whatever duties we have been assigned, doing that sincerely. Okay, this was the 8th verse. Bhagavan said, Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. We saw the elaboration in the previous session, so I'm not repeating any of those, just connecting the thoughts from 4th verse until 8th verse. It's one topic that Bhagavan is elaborating. Karma has its own glory, its own importance, as long as we appreciate how it should be done. So in Nithya Karma or Niyata Karma over here it is said, several facets are included. That point also we saw. Our daily job that we do, duties with different roles that we have taken, father, mother, son, daughter, whatever those roles are, fulfilling those duties towards whomever we owe that all falls under Nithya Karma. Even the seva that we do, right? Where will you put that? Will you put it under Naimittika Karma, means occasional duty? Or will you put it under Prayashchitta or Kamya or Nishiddha? He says no. It will also fall under Nithya Karma because it is done out of sense of gratitude. Now, wider application of seva is wherever we are serving, taking care of family will become a seva, right? Because it is done with that seva bhava, having that gratitude that I have received so much from this altar. Towards that I have my duty. The company that we are working, or place wherever we are working, towards that we can have, or one should have, seva bhava, because we have received so much from that altar. Other places which are there, temples are there, organizations are there, whichever organization we volunteer for. All of that will fall under Nithya Karma only, because it is not something we have to do it occasionally. Right? Some part of our day, some part of our routine should have this element of gratitude, where we say, this I'm going to offer, without asking anything for myself. So this was until the 8th verse. The 9th verse, Bhagavan gave a very beautiful pointer. Bhagavan said in this verse, Yajnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. He is telling Arjuna, Arjuna, if ever you feel that any karma is binding you, and some karma is binding you, look at it closely and see whether some kind of attachment has come in that karma. Or in other words, see whether you have forgotten Bhagavan. That is the meaning of this verse. Yajnarthat karmanaha anyatra. And what did Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji translate yajna as? He said, Yajno vai Vishnu. Any karma which is done devoid of remembrance of Bhagavan, devoid of this thought that I am doing this for my Lord, not for anything else. Just to please my dear Bhagavan, I am doing this karma. If that thought goes away, Bhagavan is saying here, that karma becomes a bondage. Bondage we saw more in the sense of agitation of the mind, because karma will not bind us physically, right? It is not that we are trapped in some place or anything like that. It is more of mind bandhana. And the skill in karma yoga is to be in karma but not get bound by it. Again, not bound at mind level. This mind is ever cheerful, ever available, because that person has developed the skill of karma yoga. And generally what happens is, if you leave these words very broad, doing karmas for the sake of Bhagavan, that also becomes very generic. Making it more precise will help us appreciate what this word means. So what did we see? We said yajna means there is swaha happening. Right? Even in other yajnas, the fire yajnas that you do, you have a fire, and in that you take ahuti and then offer Indraya swaha, Indraya idam namama. I am offering this ahuti in this fire, not anything, nothing of this belongs to me. This is all for Bhagavan. Now, in this yajna that we do in our day-to-day life, if we say we are doing it for Bhagavan's sake, then what is the ahuti that we are offering? We saw ahuti is of my individual opinions and preferences. In Sanskrit, this word is called as Vyashti Sankalpa. Vyashti means individual. Sankalpa means my preferences. That is, if I am able to dissolve, not have strong insistence, and appreciate this point, there is a cosmic plan also happening. If things don't go the way that I want, it is going the way that Bhagavan wants. He is also planning, right? Just like we have an individual mind, there is a cosmic mind. Being able to dissolve this individual sankalpa in this Vyashti, Samashti Sankalpa. Samashti means cosmic. The Sankalpa, what in English we call as will of the Lord. Different words are given. Hari Ichha Balavan they say. Ichha means what? Sankalpa. Hari Ichha. Bhagavan's Ichha is more stronger than mine. And he can plan things better than I can plan. Okay. It is just like if you have a good friend who says, on your birthday, I will give you a surprise. Okay. Some friend is there who says, on your birthday, I will give you a surprise. And that day comes and you realize everything that this friend is doing is according to how he wants. Means according to his taste, he has planned everything. Which gift to buy for you, whatever he likes, that he has given you. Which food should be made, whatever he likes, that food he has made. Decoration, which theme should we have? Whatever theme he likes, that theme he has made. Now what will you say? You said you are doing this for me, but everything that you have done is according to your sankalpa. If you are actually doing it for me, then you should tune with what would be my sankalpa. Right? So Bhagavan would be feeling the same with all of us sometimes. We keep saying that I'm working for you, Bhagavan, but we also keep insisting, Bhagavan, it should happen the way I want. And Bhagavan says, you're working for me or you're working for yourself. This, if somebody appreciates, Karma Yoga will open up more in our life. Karma Yoga is not a very, a constrained, a very small definition of sadhana. It's very broad. It encompasses all our actions, our whole life in general. That is why it has so much of power. But one of the main aspects of Karma Yoga is being able to dissolve Vyashti Sankalpa in Samashti Sankalpa. Individual preferences, likes and dislikes into what totality demands. And we will realize, whether we like it or not, things will still happen the way totality wants. Okay, we have lived sufficient life. We should analyze these things in our own life. Every experience that has come our way. When there is a challenge between Vyashti and Samashti, it is Samashti is more powerful. More we can tune with it, happier we will be. More we say, I will stay away from that Samashti, I will stay away from that totality, more will be our agitations, more will be our ups and downs at mind level. Now Bhagavan says, I know this, catch over here. The moment you say dropping, Vyashti Sankalpa, dropping individual preferences, there is a chance that the seeker becomes disinterested in work. So Bhagavan, as though to balance this sadhaka, he is giving two very, very important words in this 9th verse. You see the last line, Tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangas samachara. Arjuna, it is difficult, but if you can accomplish it, nothing like it. What is it? He says, don't get too attached to your work, be mukta sangha. At the same time, don't just get it done somehow or the other. Do it very well. Samachara. You see why these two words are there? They are as though balancing both these aspects. Otherwise, what could have been the state of a sadhaka? If he is samachara, means he is doing things very well, paying a lot of attention to things, doing things with a lot of devotion and dedication, there is a chance of getting attached. Mukta Sangha will not happen. Or if you are a Mukta Sangha, means not in the way that Bhagavan Krishna says, somebody has understood Mukta Sangha means not having any kind of connection with that work. Then we will not be samachara. Either that person will cut corners or he will not do that work with heart or interest. So Bhagavan says, Karma Yogi is the one who is having both of it. He is not attached to the work, but he is samachara. And this was the word that Puja Gurudev used to emphasize so much. Samachara. And his life also, he showed all of us what it means to be samachara. Whoever has read about Gurudev's life and so many incidents, even the smallest of the small action that he would do, with so much of attention, so much of heart into it, his mind is completely there where his hands are. Fixing a simple stamp on an envelope, how it has to be fixed, equal distance from top and from right. At the same time, Mukta Sangaha, not getting overly attached. This example we also saw in Ramayana in the last class. The artisans in the city of Mithila Nagari. When Janak Maharaj calls them and says, Sita ji is going to get married, you have to design a mandap, most exquisite mandapam for Sita ji. they show these two qualities, Mukta Sanga Samachara. Before starting the work, they invoke Brahmaji's grace. They invoke grace of Bhagavan. Say, with your grace only, we are able to accomplish this. Please bless us. And while they are doing that work, you see the attention to detail. They carve out birds and bees which are acoustically designed. And I was so surprised even to see that chaupai, which is, even somebody can think about such a thing, that you design something in such a way, you keep it in the wind, it will make sound of that animal. It will start humming, the bee, and the bird will start chirping just with acoustics. Imagine how much of attention to detail is needed. But these two qualities, Bhagavan says, if one can bring, then Karma Yoga will start showing its result in our life. Okay, Mukta Sangaha Samachara. Now, there were some questions last time, which I said I will cover in the introduction part. One thought that comes to a sadhaka is, when we say Mukta Sangaha, not being too attached, if I have done something good and others don't know it, then am I missing out on things? Will I not be recognized that I have done this, and nobody will even know whether I have, who has done this thing? Anything it can be. It can be a painting, it can be an artwork, or any other thing you take. The moment we do something good, there is a thought. It's a very valid thought because that person has worked hard and done all of that. Valid thought is there that I should be recognized. Others should know who has done that thing. So am I missing out on things, or will I fall behind because of this Karma Yoga Buddhi? So there the perspective is, and this Puja Gurudev only says in his talks, he says if a flower has blossomed fully, it doesn't have to send an invitation to the bees. That, hey, I have opened up, please come and take this nectar. If flower has blossomed, the bee will find its way to that flower. And that is the same thing with us. If somebody is good in something, that person, due recognition will come to them looking for it, looking for that person. Whenever we work in the world, it is not only what we say which matters. What we are and what we do in the world, that leaves stronger impressions than what we say. This point is mentioned in Panchadashi, 6th chapter. Vidyaranya Swamiji says, when we work with Karma Yoga Buddhi, it leaves a subtle impression in Bhagavan's mind. And Bhagavan starts thinking about that devotee. Just like in your company or your house also, if you have somebody coming and working for you, and that person very sincerely does the work, whatever you have asked that person to do, accomplishes it with lot of faith, lot of shraddha, and doesn't seek anything for himself, and very tuned with you. Now, naturally, that affinity will come towards that person. Means you will start thinking that if that person needs something, I should be ready to help. So Vidyaranya Swamiji says, why doubt that if we work for the Lord, Bhagavan will not think about us? He will plan things in such a way that we'll be amazed by how much Bhagavan can give if we work for Bhagavan. And these are some perspectives which will always be different from what we generally hear in the world. Right? Bhagavad Gita and Shastra, they will give some perspective which is not generally heard as a worldly solution. Right? So what is said there is, you try and see. Means whatever solution Bhagavad Gita is putting forth, actually doing that and seeing whether it works or not. Bhagavan says it will work. It is up to us. If it doesn't work, then we can always drop, because our Shastras are very, very democratic. After this Bhagavad Gita is done, Bhagavan Krishna is going to tell Arjuna, this is what I had to say. Yathechasi tatha kuru. Whatever you feel like doing, that you can do. I'm not insisting that you have to be a karma yogi, you have to do this, you have to follow Shastra. I'm only giving you a perspective. Feel free to experiment with your life. Okay, this is how I would look at it. If Bhagavan Krishna says, we don't have to worry about karma phala, I will give it to you. You do your karma phala, you leave it up to me. Then we should try and see whether Bhagavan is speaking the truth. Okay. Mukta Sangha Samachara. And then what is the result of this? Bhagavan said, this Yajna Buddhi which is there, it will express in our life in the form of sacrifice. Thinking about a bigger altar, bigger goal, this person becomes one who is always ready to give more than what he is taking. What we have in our pledge, right? Giving more than what we take. That is called as Yajna Buddhi. It all comes with these other ideas also, that letting go of individual sankalpa for a bigger purpose, bigger sankalpa. Now Brahmaji is telling something. It's a very beautiful verse. When you have a product which is purchased, sometimes they put a manufacturer's note so that we can relate with that product in the right way and not erroneously use it. If it's a DC machine, you don't plug it into your socket. Okay, it has to have a battery. Don't put it under live current. So like this, they have some notes written so that we can use that product in the right way. Now this particular verse, Brahmaji is saying, I will tell you the secret of prosperity. And he says, in whatever things I have created in this creation, I have put Yajna Buddhi in each and everything of this creation. What is Yajna Buddhi? The spirit of sacrifice, spirit of giving. That I have put in this entire world. In asterisk mark, they have that conditions apply, right? He says, including human beings. Even human beings, all of us have this Yajna Buddhi, Yajna Bhava inside us. If you are able to appreciate that and discover it, that will be the secret of prosperity. Mutual cooperation, Brahmaji is saying, that is how we can prosper. Not individual. Okay, that is the main essence of this verse. Let us try to understand. Saha yajñah praja sruštva, saha yajñah praja sruštva, purovacha prajapatihi, purovacha prajapatihi, anena prasavishyadvam, anena prasavishyadvam, eshavostvishta kamadhuka, eshavostvishta kamadhuka. Let us see the literal meaning of this verse first. Saha yajñah praja sruštva. Sruštva, having created this entire world. And in particular here, he is referring to human beings. How did he create? Saha yajñah praja sruštva. The ingredient with which Bhagavan has created all human beings is this Yajna Buddhi. Spirit of karma yoga, spirit of sacrifice. Having done that, Prajapati spoke. Brahmaji is speaking. Purovacha Prajapati. Anena prasavishyadvam eshavo stvishta kamaduka. By this Yajna Buddhi, by having this mutual cooperation amongst people, O Manavas, Brahmaji is telling all the end users, This, oh Manavas, prosper in your life, be very, very well to do. Anena prasavishyadvam, may all of you grow and have lot of prosperity through this. And next blessing, Tathastu Brahmaji is giving here. Esha vaha astu ishta kamaduka. What is he saying? There is one Kamadhenu cow, which you have heard in Puranas, which was there with Vasishta Maharshi. And whatever you ask that Kamadhenu cow, it would fulfill it for you. That is why Vishwamitra Rishi wanted it. He said, such a great thing you have, I want to take it. He says, that Kamadhenu is not only with Vasishta Rishi, Brahmaji has given each one of us one Kamadhenu. What is that? He says, Yajna Buddhi is that Kamadhenu. Eshavahatu Ishta Kamaduka. May that Yajna Buddhi become your Kamadhenu cow. With mutual cooperation, attain whatever you want to attain. Accomplish whatever goal you want to attain for yourself. That blessing Brahmaji is giving everybody. Now this one, we have to reflect more. What is the first quarter? Saha Yajna Prajasruštva. Brahmaji says, this entire world I have created with Yajna Buddhi, giving more than what we take. That bhava, that feeling is inherent in every one of us. We say it is good to appreciate this for nature. You look at trees, they don't eat their own fruit. They don't purify the air for their own sake. Even the wood is not used for its own sake. Everything is for somebody else. Shade is for somebody else. Fruits are for somebody else. Everything. It takes very little water it will take, nutrition it will take, but give back much more than what it has taken. So in tree we can understand. Or you take any other thing of this creation. Rivers are there. River doesn't flow for its own sake. All of us benefit from that river. It doesn't drink its own water. Other people drink water from that river. So we can apply this verse for other things in nature. Saha Yajna Prajasruštva. But when it comes to human beings, that is where it, you feel whether it's directly fitting or is there something off over here. Because we don't feel like human beings have this Yajna Buddhi inherent in them. Right? Because we feel most of it is self-centered. Everybody thinks about themselves. This is how we see the world. So what does it mean? Saha Yajna Prajasruštva. Bhagavan is saying, this is how I have made this creation. All we have to do is stay in tune with this music. What is the music of creation? It says Yajna Buddhi. Sacrifice is the music of creation. If we have gone off tune, it is our fault, not Bhagavan's fault. Means if somebody says this Yajna Buddhi is not there in human beings, it is because we have chosen to stray away from this Yajna Buddhi. Okay. Nature is running according to Bhagavan's music. That is why everything runs with that Yajna Bhava only. Anything of this creation you take, you will see Karma Yoga there. Even our own sense organs of this body, none of it keeps anything for itself. Right? Tongue is there, it will taste the food, but it won't keep it. It will immediately give it to other parts of this body. Hands are there, they will not work only for themselves. They will work for the whole body. So like this, every part of human body also, Bhagavan has instilled Yajna Buddhi. But if human beings, if we feel that we don't have this Yajna Buddhi, Bhagavan says there is a way to bring it. There is a way to stay in tune with this music. That is our sadhana. Okay. So there is nothing wrong with this verse. Bhagavan says that Yajna Buddhi which is there, it has gotten covered, okay, with other things. That is what we have to remove in ourselves, but also help or discover this Yajna Buddhi in others. Now, when it comes to ourselves, we should think about it a little more. What is the point we are trying to think now? If Yajna Buddhi is there in me, myself, then why is it that we don't feel it? Why do we find it sometimes difficult to appreciate this Yajna Buddhi? We say there is a fear sometimes of Yoga Kshema. What is Yoga Kshema? What will happen to me if I just, do my karma and if I don't get the result back? Because any yajna which is done, it has to be done with a lot of faith. Okay, you need patience. You cannot just offer ahuti and say, I want result right away. That ahuti should reach the right devata and that devata should bless. So it takes time for that result to come. So when we are in this karma bhumi, whenever we are doing our actions, if somebody wants quick result, that person will not be able to appreciate karma yoga. Karma yoga itself means having that shraddha that if Bhagavan has said, I do my actions well, he will take care of the result. Okay. So no matter how long it takes, I'll be patient in doing things from my end. Then we'll be able to appreciate this for our own self. Saha yajna praja sushtva. That this yajna bhava is there in everybody. But if shraddha goes down or we become little impatient about getting the result of action, then we will step away from this yajna buddhi. Okay. Now when it comes to others, right, there also Bhagavan is saying the same line. Saha yajna praja sushtva. Not only he has created us, but every person he has instilled this yajna buddhi in them. But we should ask ourselves, do we see everybody around us who have yajna buddhi? Bhagavan says yes. It is our sadhana to discover that yajna buddhi in others. Means everybody will have two sides of their personality. And it is our sadhana to discover, first recognize the good side, and then pay more attention to that good side. And if somebody is a leader, somebody wants to help the other person, then we can also help in that other person increasing this goodness, helping the other person to increase this goodness. That is Brahmaji's message. He says everybody has this yajna bhava. If we don't see it, it is something in our drishti. We have to be more, alert and recognize this point. When I read this verse, I remembered one talk that I had watched a long time back, but in our Yuva Kendra we had discussed it again, so maybe that's why I remembered it. This is a talk given by a professor, ex-professor from Carnegie Mellon, and he's no more now. He had a terminally ill condition. And Carnegie had a tradition that whenever a professor retires, they'll do something called as the last lecture. Okay, so Randy Pausch, that's the professor I'm talking about. And in 1 hour, he spoke about many things. I think the lecture was titled Achieving Your Childhood Dreams. And then he talks about how he evolved, in his dreams and how he went on to accomplish all of them. It is mainly a talk for all the students who are gathered there. But in that, he mentions one line, which I really liked. He says, people will show you their good side. People will show you their good side. We just have to keep waiting. no matter how long it takes. And he was talking about teamwork in his own research, like how, any project he would take, he would need so many people to come together and accomplish it for him. So there, one of the lines that he said was this, that people will show you their good side, and we have to keep waiting. How long that wait will take? Have Shraddha. Okay. It won't be immediate, but the result of that is something great. And then there are several things he mentions about, how he got his tenure. And on that day of getting tenure, he took his entire team to Disneyland for a week. And people asked him, how could you do that? Take everybody for a week. He said, how could I not do that? Because only with their help and support, I was able to accomplish that. So it is my duty to express that gratitude. But this quality is something very unique to leaders. What is that quality? That they'll appreciate the strength in that other person and also help that other person evolve. This is a great sadhana, very difficult sadhana, right? Because we cannot do it with force. We cannot do it by preaching. It has to be done with a lot of patience. Now, don't just keep it at team or anything. Apply it to any scenario. Right? Even in family, if we have to help somebody to grow, and that's what we all want, right? Each other, supporting each other. He says, for that, we have to appreciate this line. Saha yajna praja sruštva. That Bhagavan has kept this goodness in everybody. It is up to us to discover it. This was that one quality by which Bhagavan Rama became so dear to everybody. He could manage a team of Vanaras and get his work done. Saha yajna praja sruštva. That everybody has something in them which is good, and that Bhagavan would appreciate. Goswamiji writes one line about Bhagavan in Balakanda. Rahatina Prabhu chita chuka kiye ki. Means Bhagavan is such that even if somebody does some mistake, that he doesn't remember. Several mistakes, whatever that person has done, that he doesn't remember. Karata surati saya bar hiye ki. But if somebody does something good to him even once, that he remembers 100 times. That is Bhagavan's nature. He said, no matter how many mistakes Sugriva did, how many mistakes Vibhishana had done, Bhagavan still, he had this forgiving nature towards all of them. And whatever good they had done, that he would remember. And that was the only reason why these Vanaras were ready to do anything for Bhagavan. We say we have to build a bridge. They say, we will build Bhagavan. You wait here. In the war, imagine they are Rakshasas who are standing on the other side. And these are ordinary Vanaras. They are taking small stones, taking some trees, and then fighting with other Rakshasas. So that is all because of love that we have for Bhagavan Ram. Whenever Avatara takes place, we should not make it only like a mystic thing. Okay. Bhagavan showed a lot of charitra. He showed a lot of indicators of how to be in this world. And result of that was the love that he received from everybody. So if we make it in a contemporary sense, say wherever we want anything back from this world, that same thing we should give first. Okay, so everybody felt so welcomed, so much at ease when they were with Bhagavan Rama. So result of that was this, love that everybody had for Bhagavan. So this is mainly from other standpoint. We saw two standpoints now. If you have to appreciate that first quarter, right? Saha yajna praja sruštva. From an individual standpoint, it is more of having Shraddha. right? If Shraddha is there, then we'll be very patient with this fact that if I have done the right thing, Bhagavan will take care of karma phala. I don't have to get overly concerned about whether I will get that result back or not. But in others, if we have to apply this line, Sahayajna Prajasushva, Bhagavan says, I have put this goodness, put this Yajna Buddhi in everybody. It is our sadhana to discover it. And having discovered, increasing that more and more in ourselves and in others also, that Brahmaji says is the secret of prosperity. That group can set any goal and they'll be able to accomplish that goal. Anena prasavishadvam eshavo stvishtaka madhuka. Now somebody says, Bhagavan, okay, you have explained this from a bigger standpoint, how it is with regards to society, how it is regards to individual. But can you specifically point out what I will get from it? In certain individual level, what is the benefit of this karma yoga buddhi? 11th verse. Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantah Shreyaf paramavapsyatha. Bhagavan is telling Arjuna now, Arjuna, in this way, if you act with Yajna Buddhi, if you keep thinking about others before yourself, then the devatas who are there, they will be pleased with you. Devan bhavayatanina te devaha bhavayantuha. They will take care of you if you think about others. Parasparam bhavayantaha shreyah paramavapsita. In this way, by mutual cooperation, by helping each other, you will attain a lot of happiness in life. You will be very prosperous in life. Be very prosperous. That is what Brahmaji is telling. So what is this Devan word over here? In Yajna context, it is easy to understand. Whenever you do some Yajna, that Yajna will have a particular Devata for whom we are offering that Ahuti. But in our daily life, Bhagavan says, everything in this creation has a Devata. Okay? Whenever they do some elaborate puja and all, they point out, in the house also, for each direction, there is one Devata. For that lock which is there, you have one Devata for that lock also. Very interesting. But in simple words, if you have to say, that if we take care of others, others will think about us. And Bhagavan has kept this creation in such a way, he says, whatever you want, you will get. But it will always be given to you. You cannot choose it or forcefully try to get it. This is Karma Yoga Siddhanta. This is the meaning of that verse, what we saw in 2nd chapter. Karmani eva adhikaraha ma phaleshu kadachana. What that means is, Arjuna, make a list, like you have shopping list, right? You need to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things from this supermarket. Like that, make a list of things that you want. Simple things, like what are the things that we all want from others? One thing is, to be loved by others. So you say that is one thing. To be trusted by others. So we want trust, put that as second item. Third is being welcomed, wherever we go, wherever we are, being welcomed, being understood, being accepted. Yes, Arjuna, keep making all that list you make and pay close attention to every object on that list. None of that thing we can demand. We cannot demand love. We cannot demand acceptance. We cannot demand trust. We cannot demand understanding. Then what can I do? Bhagavan, if I want these things, he says, you can do one thing. You have full freedom in giving it. In giving love, in trusting, in being accepting of others, in understanding others, we have full freedom. Bhagavan says you do that, and the same thing that you give will come back as karma phala. If you want to appreciate this point more, try the opposite of it and see whether it comes back or not. Okay. All those qualities, whatever we have listed, take the opposite of it and then try to think. We don't have to actually do it. Sometimes thinking itself is good. If I take the opposite and do that thing, you see what comes back. Just in that way, Bhagavan says, if you do the right things, if you give the right things, those things will come back. Ravana was so powerful, but he could not demand love. Although other messengers, people were there, they were all the time in front of Ravana with their hands folded, looking at him and everything. He could not demand respect. If you see in Ramcharitmanas later, there are two messengers that Ravana sends to Bhagavan Rama. And those two messengers look at Bhagavan Rama, the way he's talking with his Vanaras, the way he's talking with his other people. Sugriva is there. Lord of the universe, talking to everybody, taking their opinion. So these two messengers, they were in disguise. And they say, look at this master. He touches everybody's heart. He's so gentle. And look at our master. Ravana. How much difference is there between both of them? So the story goes that with this line, they get caught. Other monkeys, they become alert. They say, our master, your master, who are these two people? And then Bhagavan forgives them, and Lakshmanji sends a letter for Ravana. That's a different story, but the point here is to appreciate this point that we cannot demand things from the world. And we cannot live without it. Right? We cannot live without understanding. We cannot live without trust from others, love from others, acceptance from others. So what is the way out? Bhagavan says, Devan bhavayatanena te devaha bhavayantuva. You give these things to others, they will give it back to you. Parasparam bhavayanta. In this way, by taking care of each other, may you be prosperous and may you be very happy in life. This second line is oft quoted, Parasparam bhavayantah Shreyah paramavapsata. And this application you take in any field, even in a family. If there are 2 people or 4 people, you say, how will we get Shreya? Parasparam bhavayantah. Thinking more about others, giving more, and not thinking more about what I will get. In this way, Bhagavan runs his entire creation. Bhagavan is wonderful. He has given the manual, he has given the rules, and he says, I will go in Yoga Nidra. You see, Bhagavan Vishnu is always in Yoga Nidra. How does he run this world? He says, everybody is giving their karma phalas to everybody else. You do your action, you will get karma phala from this world. Bhagavan is only giving it. And how does he give? Just by the objects and people with whom we live. So that if you want good karma phala, Bhagavan says, take shelter in karma yoga buddhi. Oh, Bhagavans are wonderful. One Bhagavan is in Yoga Nidra, Bhagavan Vishnu, and Lord Shiva is in Samadhi all the time. Least, concerned about this creation. Not in that way, but they say that we have placed this system or placed this creation in a very systematic order. Karma pradhana vishwakari rakha. With karma as the main support, Bhagavan takes care of this entire creation. Okay. If there is no question, I will conclude with one story, okay, which Puja Gurudev only used to share about this verse. Devan bhavayatanena, te deva bhavayantuha. He would say this story, that once Vishnu Bhagavan thought that every time these devatas and asuras always fighting, getting into a battle, we should have some team building activity. I should invite both of them, and they should come to Vaikuntha, and then I can talk to them and they can have a good dinner after that. So Bhagavan must have addressed both of them. He said, both of you are dear to me, and so on. And then he will, just say whatever he has to communicate. But now Devatas and Asuras wonder, when will dinner come? So many things Bhagavan has said, but dinner is not in sight. Bhagavan says, yes, wait. After this, dinner will be served. And he knew he cannot put both of them on the same table. Okay, so two different corners of Vaikuntha, same dining room probably, two different corners they were arranged. One side Devatas, another side Asuras. Now everything came, lavish dinner, different cuisines were there, North Indian, South Indian, Bengali, everything was there. But only criteria was, Bhagavan said, your hands will be tied straight. You cannot fold your hands. Before you enter the dining room, I'm going to make sure that your hands are something you must have put on the hand, and they will always remain straight. They thought, something Bhagavan must be trying. So both of them entered inside. And Asuras sat there, saw everything that they like, everything is there. But they say, how do we eat now? Before that other person has, I should have it. But hand cannot fold. And they start thinking, maybe this Lord Vishnu has some plan, some trick he is playing here. Maybe he has opened the hands of other devatas. Do you want to go and see what they are doing? They send one person. He goes there, sees, and comes back. And he tells these other asuras, devatas are very nicely enjoying their food. They chanted Brahmarpanam, and very nicely they are almost ready to say Mangalam. He said, how are they eating? Did Bhagavan Vishnu open their hands? Say no. They made sure that they are seated in that same table with arm's length. One is sitting opposite to another. And whatever this other person wants, he just points out. He says, left side, gulab jamun. And this other devata just takes it, opposite devata, and puts it in his mouth. And now it is his turn while he's munching. He says what he wants. That thing he puts in other person's mouth. This was the story. But Gurudev would say, we should be like those devatas. This is not devatas and asura story. If we want prosperity in our life, then we should feed. Feed means in every way. Wherever we are placed, giving more than what we take. Parasparam bhavayantaha shreya paramavapsita. This Bhagavan says is the music of this creation. More we stay in tune with this music, our life will be melodious. Every raga has some nishiddha swara. Means a particular set of swaras will be given and said, this particular swara you should not hit at any point. If you do that, then that taste of that raga will go away. So like that, Bhagavan Krishna is giving us this music of karma yoga. He says, those are the right swaras. O jivas, he's telling, stay in that swara of karma yoga buddhi. Anytime you hit that swara of self-centered approach, that will make things fall apart. Okay. More we will see in the next session. Now Brahmaji is continuing his teaching. He said what he likes. Now he is going to say what he doesn't like. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. When we look at the fact that Yajna Bhava or Yajna spirit is everywhere, and if you are unable to see it in a person, how do you work with that person with Yajna Bhava? Before we see it in others, it is helpful to see it more in ourselves, right? Because first Yajna Bhava has to come at an individual level. A matured expression of that is with totality, is with others. At least when it comes to ourselves, we have full freedom. Right? That's why we saw all those examples, what that professor also said. But when it comes to us in particular, we have full freedom in what we want to give. And to give it unconditionally, that is also in our hands. Right? Nobody can take that thing away from us. That is a strength of a sadhaka. And the later part of that, when it comes to titiksha, when it comes to patience, that will be seen while working with others. Right? If Bhagavan's word is true, if Bhagavan says, I have created everybody with Yajna Bhava, so he says you have to wait and watch. And if somebody is a real sadhaka, they will not be anxious about seeing the result right away. Why? Because even before entering into karma, they have removed the result from their mind. And they're not overly concerned about the result. They're entering into karma with a lot of equanimity. Only that sadhaka will be able to appreciate this sadhana. Right? Because we know anything that we try to do new, anything that we try to bring a change in, it requires a lot of time to start showing results. Right? Even with children we see, or even with any other sambandhas, relations that we have. We say we are working on it. It will take time, not expecting quick results. When individual performs actions with Yajna Buddhi, universe gives the results in favor. Is this collective karma of many individuals working together? Collective karma will come to the collective group. Right? If we take a particular sankalpa, a particular task, and the entire group is working for that task, then the result of that will come to everybody. Samashti karma it is. But even at individual level, we are getting results for ourselves. So that is also given to us by Samashti, but it will come mainly at an individual level. Okay, so both of it will be there. Like for example, if we take good, care of nature, if that gives us good rain, now that rain is Samashti karma phala. It won't be just for my house or just my street. Right? It is for everybody. Everyone will get that karma phala. But at individual level also, the punya that I will get, that punya is not for Samashti, that punya is for that individual. Okay, in that way we can look at it. Hari Om everyone. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo. Hari.